Compliment of the season and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Norlin Ebel Ame with the news. Today is Arafat Day, 1444 after the Hijrah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad and one of 4 climaxes of Hajj rites. This day, all pilgrims converged on the holy side of the Mount Arafat to fulfill their Hajj rites. The pilgrims engaged in what is described as intensive prayer exercise at the location in the outskirts of Mecca. 95,000 Nigerians are among the over 2 million pilgrims performing Hajj this year. Let's now hear more from our correspondent Usman Ali, who is part of this year's spiritual exercise. Hello, Usman.
Nolin, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and good to see you over there. Now, can you tell us your experience on this Arafat Day?
Exactly. It's a worthwhile experience to be here, to be part of the pilgrims who are participating in this all-important religious event here in the Holy Land. We converge on the Mount of Arafat, the plains of Arafat, since early hours of today. And Arafat started around 12 after performing the noon prayers. And the experience I'm having is worthwhile. Like I said earlier, you can see how I'm changing my face, my clothes. I'm living a life of seclusion at this moment of time, which is not what I was used to be. So there are some restrictions on my freedom, and I have to obey like other pilgrims who are joining us in this place, Mount Arafat, to observe this significant major religious task in the Holy Land of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. And you know, Nigeria is one of the countries with largest pilgrims during this exercise. We are the first in Africa, and I think the 5th in the whole world, if I did not forget. We are 4th or 5th among those countries who bring large number of pilgrims for this exercise. And as of now, everything is moving smoothly. People are praying fervently for themselves, for the country, to ensure that Nigeria becomes great and continue to live in peace and harmony with one another. And I spoke to some of the pilgrims somewhere around the plains of the mountain of the Rahma, that is what is called the Arafat, the mountain of Rahma, the mountain of seeking for forgiveness. All of them told me that they are asking God fervently to give Nigeria a good time, good leaders, so that Nigeria will be more stable in terms of economy, peace, and prosperity.
All right, I say amen to your prayer there. And can you tell us how the ambience is like on this very good day?
The ambience is purely religious. People you can see, they are doing what they are expected to do, performing those tasks, praying to Almighty Allah, reciting some of them supplication, reading Holy Quran, some verses of the Holy Quran, assisting each one that is close by, let me say that way. So all of us here are really working hard to see that we please God, so that God will forgive us, to renounce, and we are renouncing the past sins, seeking Allah's forgiveness, so that our life will be better in the future. And I can see everybody, male and female pilgrims, are committed, devoted for this act of ibadah.
All right, thank you very much for the update from that end, Usman.
Hello, I cannot hear you again.
Well, I'm only appreciating your contribution from that end. All right, moving on the news. It is said that one of Allah's benevolent mercies to mankind in the last month of the Islamic lunar calendar, Dhul Hijjah, is the gift of the Arafat Day. Hakimat Aliu in this report examines its significance in Islamic faith.
That day is the 9th day of the Islamic month of Dhul Hijjah. It is a day millions of Muslims across the globe come together in unity of purpose, regardless of race, culture or status, to perform one of the compulsory rites of Hajj pilgrimage. During the entire day of Arafat from dawn to sunset, Muslim pilgrims gather on the plains of Mount Arafat to make supplications in earnest. They also observe combined Zuhr and Asri, noon and late noon prayers, after which they continue to glorify Allah, moving to Muzdalifah where they spend the night.
Worldwide will converge at a particular spots, doing the same thing, and at the same time they will leave the same place for other places.
It is authentically documented that it is on this day the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah upon him, delivered his famous farewell sermon to the Muslim Ummah.
That was the day Allah perfected the religion of Islam and handed over to the Prophet. Also, within their own various countries, home countries where they are, they also engage in moral spiritualism, fasting, doing adhkar, istighfar, and all it takes, all trying to move closer to Almighty Allah.
Arafat's Day is also of paramount significance, as the gathering of such crowd is a reminder to Muslims of the day of resurrection, when all will be gathered to face the Creator. In Abuja, Hakimat Aliu, NTA News.
Now, ahead of Eid al-Kabir celebration, wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, has continued to spread her widow's mite to the needy. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that traditional leaders across the 6 area councils in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are the latest beneficiaries.
This year, 2023 Eid al-Kabir Salah will be the first to be celebrated by Senator Oluremi Tinubu as the First Lady of Nigeria since her husband took the mantle of leadership as the 16th president of the country in May 29. Therefore, this season provides an opportunity for the First Lady to walk the talk in line with the promises made to the people, particularly the less privileged. All Progressives Congress women leader Betta Edu, on behalf of the spouses of the president and vice president, is leading the delivery of basic needs, which include sacrificial rams, food items, and clothing to the traditional leaders.
Of course, this gesture is not only happening in FCT, but in some other states, especially Lagos. Of course, these are very high dignitaries in society, and they will be having lots of visitors coming during this period to felicitate with them. But most importantly, she has called for prayers for Nigeria, called for prayers for the new administration.
Permit me again to congratulate ourselves and congratulate Mr. President and his Vice President.
It's not an easy task to police the affair of a nation with over 200 million people. So I want to urge all of us as Nigerians, please, I want to beg all of us to support the government of today. Let us pray for him so that he will be able to succeed.
The team assured that the gesture will be sustained and strengthened to promote socio-economic and socio-cultural network among Nigerians, irrespective of their political or religious affiliations. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Joining me in the studio to shed more light on Arafat Day and its significance is Chief Imam Gwarimpa Estate Jumat Mosque and lecturer, Islamic Law Department, Faculty of Law, Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Sheikh Abdul Ganiu Abdurrahim Zubaidi. You are welcome to Nationwide. Yes, can you tell us what Arafat Day in Hajj means?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to bless Prophet of Allah Muhammadin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Arafat Day has what it symbolizes and has its own significance. Okay. First, Arafat Day symbolizes unity among the Muslims across the globe. You see them wearing the same clothes, coming together in one place, and also chanting and reciting one word, Azkar and Quran. This means that they are reflecting that Muslims across the globe, they are one nation and one ummah. And under that also, it symbolizes that Muslims should be someone who will be tolerant with neighbors, tolerant with everyone around him. And part of the significances of this day of Arafah is that, you see, Islam as a religion started from when Allah the Almighty created Adam alayhi salam. And that journey continued until on the day of Arafat, when Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed Hajj. Quran revealed that Allah says on the day of Arafah, Islam became completed. Where Allah says, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum, today I completed your deen for you, your religion for you. Wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati, and I completed my mercy upon you. This religion was completed on Arafat day. And likewise, Arafat day is a day of supplications. Prophet says, Khairu dua, dua yawmi Arafah. If there is any one day in the world, in 1 year, that somebody should supplicate and that supplication has guarantee of being accepted, that day is no other day than Arafat day. And that is why it's a day for supplications. And likewise, Arafat day, you see where they are, they call it Mountain of Rahmah. It's a mountain of mercy. And that is why everyone should supplicate for himself, for his immediate neighbor, regardless of religion, for Nigeria, our country, our beloved country, together, so that together we can have peace, tranquility, and progress in Nigeria.
All right. Okay, you've mentioned the significance, and of course, some Nigerians are on Arafat now, about 95,000 from what we heard from Usman earlier. What becomes of those that have not, visited Hajj, to have the privilege of performing on this day, Arafat?
Yes, Arafat Day is a day of blessing for both who are right now in Hajj on Arafah, and those who are at home that have not been able to go there. Those who are on Arafah, their own duty and responsibility now is limited to Azkar, but not fasting. But we that we are at home, our duty is to fast. As I'm here now, I'm fasting today, and many Muslims across the globe, they are fasting in asking Allah for peace and supplications to Allah the Almighty, and also thinking about our akhirah. Our hereafter will be better, and this will also be better. We that we are at home, we are to fast and also to supplicate. Those who are there, they are not to fast, but to supplicate to Allah for peace and mercy for mankind together.
All right, is it mandatory for a Muslim to offer the sacrificial animal on the Eid day when he or she has other pressing needs, such as lack of food stuff, children's school fees, house rent, and their likes hanging on their necks?
Actually, in Islam, there is a principle that says Allah does not put a burden on any person beyond his capacity. Sacrificial ram is a sunnah mu'akkada, is a sunnah that Prophet Muhammad recommended that we should involve in. Quran says, "Fasoli lirabbika wanhar." For those who have capacity of sacrificing, they should do. And for those who do not have capacity, they should not put burden that Allah does not put on them.
All right, we appreciate your contribution on Nationwide, Sheikh Abdul Ghani Abdurrahim Zubaidi.
You're welcome.
All right, still on the season, ram sellers in the FCT are counting their profits as buyers continue to rush for the sacrificial animal. Aisha Ubali, who visited another livestock market ahead of Salah, reports of the experience, which she says is different compared to that of last week when she visited the Karo Abattoir ram market.
Sellers, motorists, middlemen, and other traders all out for business, with everyone trying to persuade customers, and it is all about marketing the product, and washing the rams to look clean is part of it. Self-instituted tax collectors all trying to make money at these temporarily erected gates. It was a busy day at the livestock market at Apu, from the entrance down to the market situated under the bridge.
We have observed the influx of people coming in and buying the ram ahead of the Salah celebration. But most of the buyers are complaining of the hike in the price of the ram this year.
The important act of this celebration is animal sacrifice. And last week sellers complained of low turnout of buyers. But the sellers here are telling a different story. Not deliberate or intentional to increase the price of the ram, but the transportation fare and the feed of the animals have contributed to the increase in price.
It's better now, no problem. They will manage small because people they got no money. Even the rams, no cost. Look at this big one now, 250, 300.
Like now the food that we are used to give them, before we used to buy 6,000, now we used to buy 12,000. You see the difference, the increase. And now if somebody come and we give him the price that we used to give him before, and we double the price, he's not going to buy it again. He will definitely run away.
The act of animal sacrifice, Islamic scholars say, is in obedience to Allah's commandment, and that is why Muslims thrive hard to obey the command.
The whole of this ram you see here, you cannot get ram of 150,000. The minimum ram you can get here is from 170, 200. You have ram of 500 and above.
If you have up to 200, 100 plus, or you are holding a phone of 200 and above, it's like mandatory for you to buy a ram to do it.
But in Islam, can other animals be slaughtered and accepted aside the ram?
Ram is the sunnatic way of it. That's why it's more expensive. The cow, is it possible for people to contribute money? Yes. Cow is enough for 5 people. They contribute and share the meat and do their sacrifice.
With the acceptance of camels and cows also for sacrifice, scholars also see people can contribute money and do the sacrifice. But like a respondent has said, if you can own a phone of 200,000 naira, then you should be able to afford the ram for sacrifice. In Abuja, Aisha Ali, NTA News.
The federal government has declared Wednesday 28th and Thursday 29th June 2023 as public holiday in commemoration of this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Interior, Oluwatoyin Akinlade, in a statement, felicitates with Muslims at home and in the diaspora, urging them to imbibe the virtues of obedience, sacrifice and faith as exemplified by the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him. Muslims are therefore advised to use the period to pray for the growth and development of the country. Eid al-Kabir is one festive season Muslims look forward to, and many prefer to celebrate with their extended family far away in the village. With a day remaining to Eid al-Adha, Aisha Abdullahi visited motor parks in Abuja. She brings us a situation report.
Kabir is an important celebration where Muslims are expected to make animal sacrifice. As the celebration is expected to be big, many Muslims take this advantage to witness the moment with family.
Because I'm working here, so definitely I'll be traveling. I base in Kano specifically. I'm working here, so I'm traveling to Kano for Salah.
Actually, the previous years is more than this year.
Some, on the other hand, remain at home, since the festival can be celebrated at any location of choice, more so with the prevailing economy. The situation here in the parks is drivers lamenting the low turnout to passengers, as many have resorted to sending parcels.
No, I'm not traveling. I'm just here to drop a parcel. I normally spend my Eid in Abuja around family, so I prefer it here.
Try to bring some of my colleagues at work.
Before, Kazana is 4,500, but now it's 10,000.
Double the price we are used to. We are used to paying 2,500 from Abuja to Mina, but now we are paying 5,000 naira. And I'm guessing it's due to the cost of the fuel, like the fuel inflation. So yeah, it's taking its toll on our pockets because we are not earning more, but we are spending more.
Different, like it's very. Last year I think it's almost it's 4,000. Now it's 9,000.
The celebration of Eid al-Kabir, Muslims around the world who are not observing Hajj duties are encouraged to fast on Arafat Day for the forgiveness of sins. Aisha Abdullahi, NTA News.
We now join Adiola in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide. Compliment of the season, Adiola.
Same to you, Nolin. The need to effectively police Lagos State and rid it of all criminal elements boils down to repositioning the security architecture of the police to make it more robust. The Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 2, Muhammad Ali, while speaking to the officers of the State Command, charged them to enforce discipline in line with the acting IGP's agenda.
Commissioner of Police Lagos State, Idowu Owohunwa, who received the AIG Zone 2, intimated him of the operations template of the command in combating crime in the state. The CP noted the contributions of the officers to crime prevention, their resilience, professionalism, as well as their dynamic approach to policing a state like Lagos. He stated that the fight against crime and criminality, which has taken different dimensions, especially as it involves combating cultism, trafficking in persons and firearms, gender and domestic violence, has recorded successes.
Such that between February to now, we have arrested not less than 120 cultists and recovered not less than 60 firearms of different descriptions linked to these cultists.
Addressing the officers, AIG Muhammad Ali Ari commended the officers for being proactive in the fight against crime and pointed out that there is always room for improvement.
If we all stand tall and said yes, we can do it and ensure that this state is rid of criminals, you will see Lagos definitely will be crime-free. If not totally crime-free, but to a reasonable extent, people will go about their businesses without being hurt or otherwise.
Newly promoted officers were decorated and charged to be exemplary in their conduct.
As children prepare to begin summer holiday, the Shining Teens Club is presenting an opportunity for them to make the holiday memorable. Founder of the club, Peace Igwe, says kids that will enroll in the summer coaching program will be equipped with knowledge about the Bible, moral values, purpose and discovery, as well as leadership and life skills. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
Catching them young is what the Shining Teens Bible Club is doing. Peace Igwe, the brain behind the project, has a long-standing passion for impacting the young, both spiritually and physically. For her, this summer is a medium for parents to avail their children the opportunity to learn new skills through the Shining Teens Bible Club.
It's a Bible club and is well loaded, and the children will come out to see the Word of God in a new dimension, because we have lots of loaded activities, skills, Bible immersions, and a whole lot more to inspire them, and to help them, so that by the time August is ending, the parents will see a change.
The summer coaching program is expected to feature highly skilled facilitators who will take the children through rudiments of animation, math science, digital design, Bible studies, seminars, games, and more.
Sparking children's imagination, developing their potentials, helping them become more creative in their thinking.
Some members of the club attest to the benefits of enrolling.
I've learned so many things like math science, how to speak up.
I've learned how to play the keyboard and also take photography.
Located on Plot 10 Block O, Peace Mall, 2nd floor, Victoria Garden City, registration for Shining Teens Bible Club is ongoing. The program begins June 24 and ends August 26, but will continue every Saturday thereafter. For more information, you can contact the number on the screen. In Lagos, Hingino, John Adams, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos for now. Do not forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live.
Of the season, and welcome to Makurdi. Key players in the war against drug abuse have identified stigma as an obstacle in overcoming the challenges of addiction. It is in view of this that this year's theme for the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is People First, Avoid Stigma and Discrimination, Strengthen Prevention. Blessing Omeche Ebute tells us that the NDLEA in Benue State had a lecture to mark the day.
Stigma is the labeling, discrimination and judging of an individual, with experts saying that drug abuse is ranked as one of the most stigmatized health conditions globally. The 2018 Drug Use Survey also reveals that based on gender, drug use in women is highly stigmatized and so remains largely hidden and unreported.
Beyond the public stigma, which is having to, be tagged and labeled, stereotyped, you are also discriminated. That discrimination could mean that you are not likely to get to your job anymore.
You rescue a victim, you will do what we call sheltering. We counsel them, give them psychosocial support, and even give them medical support, because some of them come back with a lot of diseases, and their health conditions are usually very bad. Apart from the health condition, they are highly traumatized. So you need that psychosocial support and health support.
Benue State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Esther Lami Musa, believes that treating people abusing drugs with empathy and respect in a non-judgmental way can help in combating the ever-evolving challenge of drug abuse.
The community is not doing enough. That is why we need to sensitize them. For example, the theme of this year is People First. We need to create more awareness to tell them that they have a role to play. It's not a job that should be left alone for the nation or for NDLA alone.
On the performance of the State Command, she reveals that 161 suspects were arrested between July 2022 to June 2023. She calls on key players in the fight against drug abuse to collaborate with the agency to end the menace. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
With few hours to the Eid al-Kabir celebrations, sellers at the Ram Market in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, say there is some improvement in patronage compared to last year. A Cameroon Kaneng Ladoja has details.
It was a rainy day at the Ram Market in Makurdi. Despite this, buyers were seen negotiating for rams.
I came to buy a ram. I asked and the prices are high. I am looking for a ram of 70,000, but I was given a small one at 45,000, which is too small.
I came to buy a ram, but the price of this year is very expensive, and there is no money for it to meet up. So I'm not trying to change my mind, but definitely I can get the one that is okay for me.
The rams range from 40 to 50,000 naira for small size, 70 to 80,000 naira for medium size, and 150,000 naira for the large size. The sellers explained that the cost of the rams is due to the high cost of living.
People are coming to the market to buy plenty, so we are selling them. The market not this year, but this year market they well. But they say well. We sell them, but they say well. Buy them, they buy them well.
Despite the price, buyers say they will buy the rams as it is necessary for them to carry out their religious obligation. In Makurdi, Ekemeren Kaneng-Laduja, NTA News.
And that does it from Makurdi. It's back to Norlin in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Susan. The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC, Dauda Alibiu, felicitates with Muslims at home and in the diaspora as Nigeria prepares to celebrate Eid al-Kabir with other nations of the world. In a statement, the Corps Marshal assures Nigerians that the Corps remains steadfast and committed to creating safer roads for all road users through effective collaboration with all security agencies and relevant stakeholders in the road transportation industry, while reiterating the need for Nigerians to obey all road traffic regulations. The Corps Marshal also directed commanding officers to activate all operational facilities as he urges motorists to be patient and tolerant while on the roads to avoid crashes throughout the festivity and report any emergency on FRSC toll-free line 122. Multiple shocks, crises, geopolitical tensions and pandemics have disturbed the global working environment for entrepreneurs and micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, MSMEs. As the world marks Global MSMEs Day, policies that strengthen capacities and support MSMEs development as well as provision of entrepreneurship opportunities for women and youth are being canvassed. Muplang Dakok reports that Nigeria also has a single-digit funding on the way for MSMEs through the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, SMEDAN.
Every year, June 27 is marked to give marks to the role of micro, small and medium enterprises in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), as well as recognize their contribution to the global economy. The business environment has been a mixed grill of opportunities and challenges served on the same plate. Queen Peters is a small business owner who, like many others, is battling with the various challenges faced by budding MSMEs who, based on United Nations data, account for up to 90% of businesses and 60 to 70% of jobs worldwide, which is about half of global GDP.
First of all, the light issue, it's a very, very big challenge for us. The loan, getting grants from the bank.
As the day is being celebrated, young entrepreneurs from across the country have been brought together to showcase their businesses, the products of their personal drive, innovation, and creativity.
Jobs everywhere, the opportunities everywhere, it's infinite, but the ability to perceive and take advantage of them is what is lacking. So what we do instead is to excite the imagination ability of young people to be able to perceive opportunities.
This year, attention is also focused on governments initiating favorable policies which will induce an exponential growth in this sector.
Government can do more in terms of supporting small-scale businesses by introducing policies, whether it be tax breaks or debt forgiveness.
It is evident that there is a global need for more opportunities for small businesses to thrive. Hence, this year's celebration has the underlying expectation to create more impetus for MSMEs to become better actors in the global business space. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Similarly, the federal government is fast-tracking access to single-digit loans for micro, small and medium enterprises as the world marks MSMEs Day. Vice President Kashim Shettima, in a statement by Director of Information Office of the Vice President Olushola Abiola, maintains that the federal government recognizes the vital role micro, small and medium enterprises MSMEs play in driving economic growth, creating jobs and promoting innovation. He adds that the government remains committed to providing support fostering an enabling environment and improving access to finance for MSMEs, especially in these unprecedented times. Vice President Shetima is therefore urging all stakeholders to come together to champion the growth and success of MSMEs to achieve sustainable development for all, as the government recognizes the plethora of issues that face MSMEs as a result of the subsidy removal. We have here the Director General, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Smedan Olawale Fasonya, to speak to some of the issues raised in the report and, of course, government's intervention. You are welcome to Nationwide, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Now, what is this year's theme and how does that speak to Nigeria's situation?
Well, this year's theme is building a stronger future together. And what this means is that all hands must be on deck. We should explore more collaborations, no more working in silos. Different agencies that have one thing or the other to do with SMEs, stakeholders need to come together to build a varied future for SME development in the country. And it also implies that we have to catch them young. Building a future for SMEs means we also look at the young minds, creative minds, and how do we support them to be more innovative and to enhance the competitiveness of MSMEs.
All right, the removal of subsidy has, of course, brought about increase in the cost of production as a result of high cost of petrol. How is that affecting MSMEs?
Well, definitely it has a negative effect on MSMEs because they now have to invest more in diesel, they have to invest more in petrol, and the use of energy is critical in production. By our recent survey, energy cost tops the list of costs for SMEs. So what do we do in this regard? It's something that is bothering everybody. And as an agency of government, we believe that apart from, I don't want to preempt the palliatives that government is planning for SMEs, but as an agency of government in charge of SME development, we are looking at providing common facilities for SMEs so that they don't need to invest so much in infrastructure. And apart from what we can do as an agency, we intend to talk to state governments, local government authorities. Let's have common facilities based on products of competitive and comparative advantage within these clusters. For example, if you go to Ebonyi, there is a big rice cluster. What can you put there that will be like a shared facility so that SMEs will not individually need to invest in energy? They don't need to invest in workspace. So they can come to use the facility for a small fee and then go and market it. And if possible, we also identify markets for them. So we believe that this is key and that it will reduce a lot of capital that SMEs invest in providing their own energy.
Now, looking at epileptic power supply and a planned increase in tariff, how can MSMEs survive in this kind of environment?
Well, that's what I just said, that it will be difficult if they have to invest in energy, still invest in the capital they need to run the business. But if there is a place where they can use shared facilities, it will help them. And then, like I said, I don't want to preempt. There are other palliatives that the federal government is rolling out. You know, when we have that, it will also cushion the effect. But at our own end, we believe that we can cut a lot of wastages. One, SMEs can come together to buy raw materials. It means they will achieve economy of scale, and they will be able to reduce the cost that individuals will use in buying. So these are areas that we are trying to sensitize SMEs to do things differently. You can have, you can identify markets jointly, you can buy raw materials jointly, you can come together in a cluster and use the same energy. You don't need each person to have a generator to now use your generator for production. And we are also looking at assisting them with post-production packaging. A number of them will invest in production, invest in packaging. You can outsource your packaging for a small amount instead of you investing in all. So these are areas that we believe will cushion the effect for SMEs.
You said earlier that you don't want to preempt the government, what they have, of course, as palliative. But do you really have an idea of what they have for Nigerians?
Well, the work is ongoing, and I believe very soon it will be unveiled. I'm a government, I work in a government agency. It will be wrong for me to preempt what the federal government is going to unveil very soon. So, but we are all working towards this, and we believe that SMEs will have a side of relief by the time the palliatives are unveiled.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution on Nationwide, Mr. Fasonya.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Nigeria's fiscal gains from subsidy removal is estimated to be 3.9 trillion naira in 2023 and more than 21 trillion naira between 2023 and 2025. The World Bank made the projection in its latest Nigeria Development Update (NDU) released Tuesday. It noted that the removal of the petrol subsidy and foreign exchange management reforms are crucial measures to begin to rebuild fiscal space and restore macroeconomic stability. The report added that it is critical to implement a comprehensive reform package that encompasses a range of complementary measures, including a new social compact to protect the poor and most vulnerable to maximize the collective impact on growth, job creation, and poverty reduction.
Confidence of investors. And that's going to be a very challenging task between, restoring the confidence of investors. Already one sees signs of this in capital markets, but balancing that with the need to provide, rebuild the trust and provide relief to ordinary Nigerians.
What has been done in terms of the fiscal regime, improving government's finances, which is still an ongoing process, and what has been done by central bank on the monetary side by eliminating multiple rates needs to be sustained, first of all, by having a response in terms of financing.
The Speaker, House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has appointed 33 new legislative aides, while the National Assembly Service Commission has approved the appointment of Rawlings Emmanuel Agada as acting Deputy Clerk Administration in the House of Representatives. The Director General National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has applauded the Nigerian Navy for its continuous and timely response to disaster management, as the case with the proactive response to distress call that saved the lives of 10 medical students and 1 boat crew member of the Calabar Marina Resort boat mishap. The NEMA DG also sued for caution so as not to trigger unnecessary mishaps and crises in the country. Paul Abel reports that this came to the fore during the NEMA's delegation's visit to the Nigerian Navy ship Victory in reaction to the unfortunate June 24th incident.
The sad incident of Saturday, 24th June 2023, where 10 medical students who were on a boat cruise were rescued by the Nigerian Navy ship Victory upon a distress call. The DG, National Emergency Management Agency, through a delegation headed by Fortunatus Ayaun to the Nigerian Navy ship Victory, expresses gratitude to the Navy for always responding to distress calls. The DG encouraged the Navy to sustain the gesture of being proactive in emergency management. Commander NNS Victory, Commodore Vincent Baranwi, reassures NEMA delegation that the Navy will continue to provide safety and security to lives and property along the maritime domain whenever the need arises. Related development, the President of Cross Riverian in Diaspora, Christopher Laker, advises government to evolve strategic safety measures.
We would like to suggest that government establish a technical committee to review and set measurable standards for boat operators in riverine areas in Cross River State.
A total overhaul of this facility should be done so that proper and adequate safety measures can be put in place.
In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Felicia is in our Jos Network Center with more reports on Nationwide. Good evening, Felicia.
Good evening, and it's glad to see you, Nolin. Welcome to Jos. As preparations for Eid al-Kabir celebration heighten, Belkisu Nuhu gives situation report as live from Ram Market, Jos.
It appears we are having audio challenge from our Jos Network Center, and we continue the news from here. Mainstreaming gender-based issues in projects of various ministries, departments and agencies of government is the first step to achieving 50% affirmative action as provided in the revised 2021-2026 National Gender Policy. This is the focus of a two-day sensitization workshop on the revised National Gender Policy for South-South. Clement Barakui reports.
Nigeria, like many countries of the world, has made effort to address issues of rights abuses, gender-based violence, as well as the participation of women in all sectors of the economy. Yet, not much has been achieved. The 2023 general elections is still fresh in the minds of many Nigerians, where out of 1,019 females who contested in the state houses of assembly elections, only 48 won, representing 4.7% success rate for women.
The Senate, for example, has only 3 women of 100 out of 109 persons in Senate. House of Representatives, I used to have about 21 women, now has only 11 women represented. I mean, that's abysmal.
The 2021-2026 reversed National Gender Policy is another step by government to build a just society.
We need to be aware of the provisions of that gender policy, because gender is about role playing, okay? Girl child, boy child, men and women.
Women need access to finance on equal basis as men have access to finance. So why are they not sharing the information on how to access the same finance that men are getting?
These 2 days sensitization for representatives of various sectors of the economy in the South-South is therefore to ensure that gender perspectives are mainstreamed in projects of all ministries, departments and agencies. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
For stories